We're doing a live show, and it's calling it now, and you should call in so you don't have a cow if you're MAGA, and you weren't at that dumb memorial where a fascist is being honored. You should call and argue with us because we think that you're wrong, and you pretend that you value the dialogue, but we know that you're full of shit. True. Okay, that didn't rhyme. Welcome to the show. What's up, everybody? We're back once again. Welcome to Calling It Now.
That was like a 3 on my scale of theme songs you've done so far. 3 out of like a 10.
I'd like to say that I was multitasking, but really I just phoned it in. I do have a phone prop now. I was thinking I want a wall of phone. I want to make a set where it's just shelves of like antique phones. So this is my.
Were you doing it like you're an old? It feels like a very old-timey radio. I don't know why.
Unfortunately, it is a working telephone, but it's not actually an antique. These are actually buttons. This dial is inoperable. You cannot actually.
Have you seen they have things where you can connect your cell phone to like a landline. Yeah. So when someone calls your cell phone, it goes to like a landline.
Yeah. And they also have like these as a Bluetooth device kind of deal. Where it's just anyway, welcome to Calling It Now. We are here to have the conversations and the debates that the right pretend that they value. And they have told us that the death of Charlie Kirk has resulted in the creation of 10 million Charlie Kirks, which should be 10 million people who are willing to discuss, who are willing to talk, and who are willing to chat. And we are now here with Calling It Now to put that to the test and find out, is that true? Are there 10 million Charlie Kirks ready to call?
10 million Charlie Kirk sounds like my nightmare. Not gonna lie.
It doesn't sound fun. It sounds like they would serve milk, I assume, at this event. Yeah. I imagine at the memorial that's going on right now, they're serving milk.
I thought it was over already. Is it still going?
I don't know. I stopped watching after Stephen Miller started doing Mein Kampf in English.
His memorial should not be that long. It's not that deep.
I have been waiting for some highlights. I saw some pieces of it, just couldn't bear continuing to watch it. Really, the only thing I want to know is if Tucker Carlson, who is one of the guests, is going to call out, even indirectly, the fact that they are using this to take away our freedom of speech. And this is one of the things that we are ready to defend if you are ready to call in and prove us wrong. That's the banner they put on their little tents. Prove us wrong. Christianity and MAGA are wrong. And one of the ways in which they are wrong is their application of free speech. And I will propose that they have never cared about free speech. They have cared about their speech. And the concept of free speech for everyone is something that they have always been opposed to. That cancel culture started with them. That Fox News and their silly boycotts and many other things that were all performative were the beginning of cancel culture. And them pretending that they're now taking cancel culture from the left is crazy and ridiculous because they always had it. They don't care about freedom of speech. And if you disagree and you are the MAGA person who can prove us wrong, prove us wrong. Also, what are some other proposals you want to give out? Jimmy Kimmel was unjustly fired by ABC because the government put pressure, thereby violating freedom of speech. We'll start with that. If you've got better facts than we do, call in and prove us wrong.
I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something even deeper. Jimmy Kimmel said nothing wrong.
I also agree. Jimmy Kimmel's lines were fine. I will go so far as to say I'm going to spoil it now because people will look it up before they call if they see this part of the show before they call. Most MAGA people can't actually tell you what Jimmy Kimmel said. Just that they agree he should have been taken off the air. That they don't actually know specifically what he said. And they certainly can't quote what he tweeted after Charlie Kirk died. They certainly can't tell you what the actual joke was. And a summary of he made fun of Charlie Kirk's death is actually inaccurate. And I still wouldn't have said he should be taken off the air by the government, by threats from the government, even if he had made fun of Charlie Kirk's death. But the fact that they're saying that's why he was taken off, I will say is actually demonstrably wrong. And if you think that you're ready to fight with us, that number is right up there. We'll have as long as everybody keeps pleasant and respectful, it'll be a very respectful conversation. 336-543-2101. If you're calling in to just talk over us, that never goes well. Arden and I just had like the worst ones on Thursday.
I heard somebody came to my stream that like following day and was like, did you, I think it was when me and Forrest were on, it was like, did you guys hear about the call that Jimmy and Arden had yet? I was like, no, I
just
hadn't.
One.
No.
There was at least 3 where they would keep complaining. That's funny. Josh Everett in the super chat saying, I think Jimmy's wrong. MAGA won't look it up even after you said they don't know it. We're waiting though. We're waiting for this. Granted, right now, look, we might have shot ourselves in the foot by not moving the time of today's show because there is festivities. This cult is treating this as though a person from their cult has died.
I want to know what the views on that are, if it's still going right now.
If it's still going,
I thought it was over, but if it's still going, I would love to know.
I think it's a
203 people live on Fox News.
200 and what?
203,000 watching it live on Fox News right now.
And that's just the YouTube channel, right?
That's just their YouTube channel, yeah.
I was watching until so when you cancel Hulu, it goes for a little while, and I had a Hulu Live. So I had like MSNBC and CNN and all wonderful institutions that aren't totally also shit. But just kidding, they're terrible. Anyway, but I was watching some things on there, and yeah, it's crazy how even there, CNN just having to break in every time and be like, just a reminder that, you know, what Stephen Miller is saying, and just a reminder, this reference to Kimmel, that isn't what happened. Just a reminder, they're doing such soft, just a reminder, but they're still broadcasting this memorial and doing also, I hope Van Jones now recognizes like, oh, that's cool. Like, I was doing this defense of Charlie Kirk and all this thing, and now Marco Rubio is quoting me at the memorial as like proof this guy wasn't a hateful bigot. Like, I hope that gives him some pause and he considers there's a thing about Van Jones where, like, on the one hand, what he did and said annoys me, but on the other hand, the mistake he made came from a place in him that I consider, I don't know about character flaw, but it's weirdly
I think what's
part
worse
of what
is
I
that
like about
Van
him.
Jones is such a great name.
Yeah, that's true.
And like when someone has a really good name and they do something that's like sucks, it's like,
call him Fat Joe.
Oh, by the way, for Fat Joe, for anybody asking, yes, there's just audio if you're watching on my page.
Yeah.
If you want the video, you have to come over to Jimmy's page. It's right there on the screen.
Yeah.
But there are people in my chat unhinged already. Someone said parasites, illegals, perverts, criminals, and Islamo-Nazis agree with you. That's the bunch you're part of garbage. That might be the most insane sentence I've read all day.
Go ahead and call in. I like having to come up with a new term called Islamo-Nazis because you can't say the actual Nazis because those are your people. I do like that. I like that where you're like, okay, but let me do something. You know what? Regular Nazis, pedo Nazis, even grammar Nazis are on your side, dude. It's fun. It's fun that you're having to create new terms to be able to do it. Anyway, people, if you're in the chat and you've got a thing to say, that number's right up there. And we made it easy for you to remember because some of you will need it to be easy. 336543210.
Well, I just want to know, conservatives, when has conservatism ever been on the right side of history? When?
Yeah.
Name me one time.
Yeah.
It wasn't the conservatives who ended slavery.
Right.
It's always progressives. That's the whole.
Maybe I shouldn't say this because it's going to prevent somebody from calling in, but somebody's going to call and be like, oh, you said when have conservatives been on the right side of history? Well, how about when the Democrats started the Ku Klux Klan? And then you just have to ask, right? And what kind of Democrats were they? What kind of Democrats were they? Were they liberal Democrats? Or were they conservative?
They don't understand
Democrats?
that conservative isn't a political party. Like they are incapable of recognizing. And even then, they ignore the blatant position switch of the parties.
Which it's funny because
it's just so wild.
Sometimes you can kind of trick them. Where you talk about like, okay, cool, let's take that to the conclusion. whose ancestors were they and who still defends those ancestors and has the same. So go to a Democrat from the Klan.
Who wants to keep the statues up, Jimmy? Who wants to keep? Right. We don't want the statues up.
Go to the Klan Democrats, find out who their grandchildren are, great-grandchildren are, and find out what party they're in and whether or not their values are roughly the same. And you'll find like, yeah, no party switch happened, but weirdly, the offspring of the Klan are now Republicans with the same values as those Democrats had, but the parties didn't switch. Anyway, in the meantime, we've got at least a person.
I love watching people in chat try to like use debate terms. Like someone's like, this is just a whataboutism. You don't know what whataboutism means. And like, we're not in a debate. We're not like,
yeah.
It's so
but
funny.
do it. Call in and tell us to our faces, to our mouths, to our ears. 3365. Imagine this as a SpaceX launch to make it easier to remember. First 33, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. One rocket blows up. You know, like a SpaceX launch. I thought that was funny. It explodes. It doesn't actually get up.
It took me a minute. There you
go. Thank you. Yeah. Solid.
One of like the six failed launches of Elon Musk.
There we go. First there was 3, then there was 3 more. That's the first 2 digits. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Countdown to 0, and then 1 explosion. All right, we'll start talking to Colton in Illinois. Colton is a MAGA caller, wants to discuss the Jimmy Kimmel situation. I almost said Kimmy Jimmel. Either, I've heard it said both ways. Colton, you're on the line with Jovan and Jimmy. How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing?
Just fine. How's the weather in Illinois?
We're chilling.
A lot of storms lately. A lot of northern thunderstorms.
Yeah, and
how's that place that conservatives call a hell pit, Chicago?
Is that where you are?
Oh, Chicago is awful. I completely agree.
Terrible, right?
As someone who's been to Chicago, I loved it. Anyway.
Yeah. No, you weren't able to walk out of the airport.
There's things to like the food, but the food's pretty good. So.
Yeah, but then you have to like going from hot dog cart to hot dog cart under enemy suppressing fire the whole time. I mean, it's basically Beirut over there. All right, Colton, what did you want to talk about on the Jimmy Kimmel situation?
So I was compelled to call because you made a pretty good general comment that separates me from a lot of MAGA, and I think that you can agree with Donald Trump's policies without agreeing with certain decisions. So I kind of wanted to see what Jimmy Kimmel said if you had the quote available, because I honestly had not seen it yet. And I thought maybe talking about it with someone could be pretty interesting, and thought it could be interesting for your show to have a conversation with somebody who is neutral.
Sure. I wonder, before I tell you the exact quote, I wonder if you would tell me not what because you said you don't know the quote, but generally understanding, because I assume you're in a MAGA community, what category would it put you, would you consider it in? What are you expecting it to be like based on what you've heard? Are you expecting it to be a direct comment mocking Charlie Kirk dying? Are you expecting it to invoke Charlie Kirk's name and disrespect his memory in some way? What is what kind of joke are you expecting it to be that was what the right has then said is worth firing him for?
I've seen Jimmy Kimmel talk, I know he can be kind of, edgy, so I'm assuming that maybe he just made like a comment that some people took the wrong way. I don't think it's as serious as people are making it out to be, because people in MAGA love to joke, love to talk about how liberals are too sensitive, but then they can be very sensitive themselves.
Indeed. So here's what I want to do. Before I read you the quote, I want to give you a scale we're going to work with, and it's going to be a scale of 1 to 5. And 5 will be, oh no, fuck Jimmy Kimmel. He definitely deserved to get fired for that. Whether the government did, whoever did, his head deserved to roll, metaphorically. And then 1 is going to be, that's what they got offended by. That's what bugged them. And I just want, after you hear the quote, for you to give me the 1 to 5, and then we'll talk more about it. So,
all right, sounds good.
The joke happens in 2 parts. The first part, actually, I would say is even not so much a joke. I don't think it was even meant to be funny, but it was, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the pointing, there was grieving. That was part one. And then part two, on Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism, but on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this. He then plays the clip of Donald Trump being asked, as a longtime friend of Charlie Kirk, how are you holding up? He responded with, I think very good. And by the way, right there where you see all the trucks, they just started construction on the new ballroom for the White House. As though he actually, if you watch the video, it's very apparent he barely was listening to the question and just wanted to talk about the ballroom. And it gives the impression that it's not affecting him at all, that Charlie Kirk is.
That honestly sounds about right. Like, I've noticed one of Trump's tactics is to steer a conversation in another direction. That honestly, even without the clip, that doesn't surprise me. That sounds.
Would you say it's a tactic, or is he more like sundowning and just can't focus on anything other than what's on his mind at the moment?
I think it's a tactic only because he generally does that a lot. Like that's not the only.
That's why I don't know if it's a tactic or if he's just.
I think it's just him. I think
he's just finally sundowning.
I think he doesn't care about anybody else, even with his own. I think if his son died, he would try to think, how do I score points off of this more than anything else? Maybe Ivanka is the exception. Maybe he would feel worse about Ivanka the same way we all have conflicting feelings about the first girl we were in love with. But I don't know beyond that. I don't think.
Okay, that joke was pretty
really
good,
quickly.
Thank you, Colton.
Colton,
Well,
I'm just wondering.
Let him give his score 1 to 5 real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say a 1 because honestly, it just sounds like a general observation to me.
Indeed.
Like, to me, it doesn't even sound
Colton,
like it's trying to be funny. It's just a general observation, which I don't see the problem with a general observation.
I agree.
Do you think that the head of the FCC, Brendan Carr, should have gotten on a podcast and said that if ABC doesn't do something about Jimmy Kimmel, the FCC is going to come down hard on them?
I think that is government overreach. The government, the way I understand the First Amendment is it is freedom from being suppressed by the government for your speech. I will say that ABC was probably, the news networks were probably persuaded by the government to fire him, which is wrong. Because the way I understand it is the government cannot come after you for your speech unless it is like, oh, I'm going to kill the president or whatever, like a direct
Which
threat.
was an example he was giving everybody.
It is not protection from private employers. Like, if you say something at work, the speech may not be protected by your private employer. You can still be fired.
Correct. Colton, if Bob Iger had fired him and there was no evidence of the pressure, which the evidence came months ago when Donald Trump said Colbert down, Kimmel next. But if there was no evidence of that and Bob Iger was just like, no, I'm not having somebody on the network, I'd roast the shit out of Bob Iger for being a whiny little pussy, but I wouldn't have gone, this is an infringement of free speech, which is right now the popular opinion amongst the MAGA people is that, no, that's just consequences. The government is just issuing you consequences. And this is what the FCC is for the public good. That is their argument, with very few exceptions, though notably some exceptions that are honestly surprising. You know, Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz, and a few others. I can't remember them all off the top of my head.
No, I honestly, I heavily disagree with them because the whole reason the First Amendment exists is so you can't be prosecuted by the government for your speech. That's kind of the whole point.
Colton, then you admit here, as somebody who is MAGA, you admit that the Donald Trump administration is engaging in government overreach.
Absolutely.
What about suppression of free speech?
I think that it is an attempt to suppress certain forms of speech, yes.
So can you give us something comparable?
Specifically speech he doesn't agree with.
Do you believe that Trump was still a better choice than Biden?
I think that from a mental health perspective, yes. And I voted for him because of better border security and economic policy. The reason that I voted for him on the border is that I had a teacher growing up. Her name was Ina. She was from El Salvador, and we did not like how people were able to so easily cross the border when she had to wait the due process, because she came in during the Reagan era. It was the 19th. I think she came in like 1984, 83. And so she had to go through
Colton, why when you, so in that scenario, you have two people you could be angry at. You can either be angry at the immigrants who are doing it to survive. Like, for the most part, if you look, the overwhelming majority are just trying to get a better life. They might be fleeing a hostile area, an impoverished area. You can be angry at them for bypassing a system that is built to be very hard to get through. Or you can be angry at the government for making it so difficult to get through, and for creating a world in which our economy now relies on exploited immigrant labor, because while it actually relies on that quote unquote illegal immigration, and to be able to exploit a lot of that labor now. So why when those are the two groups you chose to be angry at, why choose the immigrants? Because it was harder for my mother came and she overstayed her visa just like most illegal immigrants do. There were no repercussions for her because she was a white woman with white kids. But if she was brown, obviously they're deporting people like her now, but not her. She's now a citizen, so that's easy enough. But even though she violated all of that, but why, when you're sitting and you're going, boy, there's a problem with this, why are you not scrutinizing the rules that make it so hard for good, honest people who just want a better life to get in, who make it hard for people who are hard workers but poor to get in? And why go for, I'm mad at you because I'm seeing you as breaking a rule that is almost made impossible to actually keep to unless you are already wealthy?
Because a lot of them, when they come here, are exploiting government systems, such as they're putting them on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. And I will say I am a legally blind American. I'm a legally blind American, so I live partly off of Social Security along with my part-time job. And seeing people exploit systems that people like me need to survive does not sit well with me.
This is weird. We've had two people call in as legally blind in the last 4 days, and the last one we caught lying about it. It's weird.
Well,
anyway,
at the end of the day, I just want to point out, Colton, like, none of what you just said is happening, right? They aren't actually taking services away from Americans. They're paying more into the system than they're using. Well, right. They were. I don't know now, because, now they don't want to pay taxes, because if they do, they might get deported. But they were using ITIN numbers. They were paying almost $100 billion into taxes, and a rough estimate shows that they were really only taking in, they were really only using like $60 billion in benefits on the high end. So
still
they were paying more than they used.
Right. Not to mention even the ones who weren't using ITINs were still supporting the local economies, which eventually ends up in taxes as well. But again, what you just described there, Colton, was a problem with the system. Even if you go with some number of them, even if you were right and it was a net negative, why not be angry at the system when you still know most of them coming have the intention to be here to work, to support their families, and if just given a legal path with freedom from a chance of being deported just because the government doesn't like you anymore, they would overwhelmingly do it, and we would skyrocket the amount that they are paying into the system, and that $100 billion that's already higher than the highest estimate of what they're taking would go up by so much more. I get these financially, Colton, I'm not mad at you because I think you've fallen for what is essentially the easier way to make a person politically radical on one side or the other. I can give you a bad guy that you feel like you can affect and change, where you can see that their life is more inconvenient, that the bad guys are getting the stuff, rather than try and point you to a bad government, which will feel impossible to change. But you feel like you can change the lives of these bad guys that you think exist, that don't exist in the numbers you think they do. But it feels like you have the power there. It's much why cancellation works too, and why I'm more at risk of being canceled by members of my own audience than I am by opposition, because it's people go for the people they think they can actually affect and harm. I think you've just fallen for a scam, a MAGA scam, Colton.
I honestly see where you're coming from. I agree to disagree. I'm not going to go off on you the way some of these idiots do.
Wait. I don't just say you agree to disagree, though, Colton. Like, ground your disagreement in some type of anything, right?
Like a fact.
So I see the issue as, even if it is the government's fault, that's not an excuse to take advantage of a broken system. That's like saying, well, there's no cops around, so I'm going to speed and cause a car accident. Like,
who's more likely to take advantage? Who's more likely to take it?
Wait.
Go ahead.
But Jimmy, don't even start there. How are they taking advantage of a system that they pay into?
It's more of an analogy of just because there's not something over there to regulate it doesn't mean that you do it.
Colton, you're basically bummed out that there's inadequate paperwork, and that's because the government won't allow it. Like, that's what you're bummed about here. They're not taking advantage as a net. So you have individuals you're upset at. This is what I said is the scam, when the greater positive, it's a greater positive for us. And if we would just give them easier access, it'd be an even greater positive. But you're like, just look at American citizens versus quote unquote illegals. American citizens are more likely to both commit crimes and take advantage of systems, whether they need to or not, including amongst the people who are the lift yourself up by your bootstraps. I wonder, Colton, if you'll know the answer to this. Who, of the top 10, let's just go with 10, the top 10 states that use the most welfare, are they red states or blue states? And when you answer, by what proportion do you think it is?
I would say if we look at the most expensive and biggest economies in the country, so that would go California.
I don't know why. Was that, Colton, was that my question?
So you want a more general answer. I would say it's a combination of both, but more blue states, as blue states have bigger economies.
So as far as if you want to go with a flat number is no good. You have to go with percentages because it actually tells you another story. Per capita, 8 of the 10 states that are using the most welfare are red states. And by the way, the blue state that you wanted to point to, California, while you might have a higher number of people, overall number of people on welfare than you do in Mississippi, which is the highest per capita, Mississippi takes more from the federal government than it pays in, where California pays the federal government more than it takes in. In other words,
almost every red state.
Right. Not only is California covering their own welfare by the money they're paying in, they're also paying for the welfare in Mississippi, in Kentucky, in Alabama, in Tennessee, because the blue states have a surplus and the red states have a deficit. So the red states have a higher occurrence, higher percentage of welfare recipients than the blue states, even though these are the blue states are often the states that you guys think that, illegals are taking away from the systems and everything. And yet they're generating disproportionately more income than they are taking from the government.
Yeah, the only red states that I think it's literally just Texas and Florida are the only red states that don't. And that's Florida is because of Disney. If Florida didn't have Disney, they'd be screwed. And Texas is just because it has 3 really big cities.
Florida's economy was also built on, hey, we're getting echo back, Colton. If we're on speaker, you got to kill that or something.
Okay.
The blue. Remember too that Florida has switched between red and blue, and if you want to track to policies that caused their economic boom, it was all the blue policies that got you Disney and the like, and the red ones are the ones that have decreased growth and increased inflation, much like Donald Trump.
Absolutely, Florida was a swing state for the longest time.
Correct.
So I just want to. I still think we need to boil down to something here, Colton. You voted for you're MAGA. You support Donald Trump. You support the MAGA movement. You don't support their current attacks on free speech. I assume you don't support a lot of their do you support stripping people of their legal right to be here if those people speak out against Palestine? Like this administration has been doing to people like Mahmoud Khalil and so many others.
I believe in deporting people who absolutely take advantage of systems, but if you're speaking out against Palestine, I think that you have freedom of speech to do that if you're here,
Okay.
because the laws
So
apply
if
to
you're
everyone.
for-
So if you are here,
Okay. If you're only for deporting people that take advantage of systems, then you wouldn't be for deporting undocumented immigrants. You'd be for deporting anybody from a red state.
I
Damn,
think
you're
that
on
red,
your
red
side.
states are like
completely-
red states are historically take advantage of this system of federal taxes by not paying in as much as they take in federal aid.
what actually happens everywhere. It doesn't just happen in red states.
Just way
It's
more
not
in red
about
states.
where it happens
What-
more. It's not
wait,
about the proportion.
what-
It's
It
about
is.
the issue itself.
It
It's
is
both.
though.
It's both. It is absolutely both. And it's ironic too, because the red states will vote against their continued access to welfare, even as they are disproportionately taking it and having it paid for by blue states.
The domino effect is funny, isn't it?
It's weird. I think you mean the horseshoe effect.
The horseshoe effect. Yes, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Colton, what I'd like is, because we have other callers lined up and only so much time to do it, what I'd like to do is go back, watch the call again, think about the things we've talked about here. And I'd love to have a follow-up conversation. If you want to do, Jovan and I will both be back next Sunday. But I feel like we've sat here and given you some stuff to think about. I've had a good time. Right now, you've had a good time, I hope. And so I'd like you to let's have a follow-up conversation on this. And after you've, certainly if you want to go check on some data and stuff, if you want to fact check anything we say or further follow up on any, because I think it will have to be upon that basis. My goal will honestly be to, dare I use the word, radicalize you to recognize that people and immigrants aren't the problem. The government is. And the government being so far away from the people is the problem. And no one is worse than countering their values, than being hypocritical when it comes to, we literally right now have the largest government we've ever had. And supposedly we elected the small government president. So if you're a citizen, the amount of government in your life has dramatically gone up. But if you're a business, it may have gone down, except for the tariffs, which are skyrocketing for you and increasing your taxes like crazy, even as they're doing the tax breaks for small businesses, which will be offset in a way that mostly affects the poors. It's Colton.
Right.
It's a wild thing. Can we do that? You want to follow up with us maybe next week? Thanks.
Absolutely. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a good one.
Cool. I'm conflicted on where to go next. I think we just go in order.
Yeah, I mean, we can go in order. I don't necessarily know about number 5, but we could definitely do 4 and 6.
Oh, sure.
100%.
Sure. Yeah. All right, John in New York. And by the way, people, 1 second, John. By the way, people, the number's still on the screen. We still have open lines. If you want to call and argue with us on any points, debate us on any points, show us where we're wrong, bring the evidence, bring the proof. We are ready to have a pleasant conversation with you at 33654-321-01. But now we have John in New York, a conservative who wants to talk about what we spoke about earlier, wants to bring up the Klan. So, John, New York, the floor is yours. I hope the weather's there nice also.
Yes, it's a pleasure to speak with you people. It's actually an honor, and thank you for bringing all of these issues to light.
Sure, thank you. All right, John, what's your what position did you want to present? Oh, 65. Are you in New York City right now?
No, I'm a Nassau County kid. I've lived here for 50 years, but it's being 15 miles from the center of the world.
Sure.
It's you kind of have a unique perspective.
Sure.
And I have yes,
right. Well, give us your position. The point you wanted to make about the Klan there.
Yeah. I would say that, first of all, let's just lay our cards on the table. The Ku Klux Klan is a democratic institution.
All right, great. No, John,
if you want to
great. what I've done, John, is I've gone ahead and I have pulled up values of both the Democrats and I've pulled up values of the Klan. And I want you to tell me whether I'm talking about, sorry, I've pulled up the Republicans and I've pulled up the Klan, and I want to go through each one. And I want you to tell me, is that a Klan value or is that a Republican value? Okay.
Now, I do not, and that's fine, but I do not want you to say like, a Judeo-Christian value.
I pulled up theirs.
A political motive.
Listen, I'm not going to be broad. These are their values and their words. And so I'm just going to run down a list, and then I'm going to reveal to you after which ones were Republican values and which one were Klan values. Are you ready?
Okay. Hey, shoot.
Okay. A defender of Protestant Christianity and American patriotism, viewing itself as a fraternal order to unite and strengthen Protestant church and values. Is that the Klan or are that the Republicans?
That's the P word. It's like Protestant. Now you're dividing, just being a moral person and being a secularist. So it would be saying, okay, it's a
John, just a simple answer would just a simple answer would go. John, I feel John, you are trying to speak so you don't have to answer. So John, when we're talking about Christianity, American patriotism,
yes,
that is a value. Yes. Is that a Klan, a Republican, or you want to add Democrat in there? Which one do you think that is?
I think it's all kind of cultish kind of.
Goodness sakes.
Okay, let me try something here.
I want to try one more time with him. I want to get this through. I want to give it a shot. Was that the Klan or the Republicans? Because right now it seems like you're having a hard time deciding, which should kind of give you the point.
Well, deciding on what issue? Deciding. It's just like, if you have a path where
right, John,
you're trying.
John, I'm not going to let you just keep obfuscating. So I'm going to move to the next one. An America First policy trying to reject anything that seems like a Western influence, an Eastern influence into society and maintaining America First principles. Does that sound like Republicans or the Klan? Just please answer one or the other.
That sounds very, very clannish.
Okay. And so you think the Democrats, because you said it's a democratic institution, you believe that the Democrats believe in an America First policy, rejecting Eastern religions like Islam, Eastern influence. You think that that's the Democrats' value because you're saying the Klan is the Democrats.
I think that's the trigger word that you're saying rejecting. No, we can accept and, kind of infuse into our values, but not reject.
Wait, can I just need to, because this is where I feel like, John, you made the claim that the Democratic Party is the party that started the KKK. Who specifically?
Is the party currently of the Klan?
Is the party of the, yeah. But who, I assume this is because you believe, John, that the Democrats are who started the KKK. How many Democrats started the KKK specifically?
You have your Duke guys and all of this, but it's a Southern kind of. I think the word I'm looking for is it was institutionalized.
Okay.
Where you say okay.
Really quickly, of the basically 1 million people, because there were about 1 million people at the time of the Klan's founding that were Democrat in the United States, which was roughly half of the people that voted for Lincoln. Of that 1 million, how many of them founded the KKK?
Yeah, it's a percentage, not even a.
You will never get a direct answer
percentage.
from John. Just so you know.
Okay.
I'll
just tell you.
Time.
It was 6.
But it's not even.
It was 6 people.
Significant percentage.
It was 6 people.
4%.
It was 6.
No, not even 6%.
Six
6 people, as in much less than 1%.
Now we can go even
then
further.
why- so
There
then
were
why is
about
it
there were
such
hold
a
on,
problem? If there's
Hold on, John, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. There were about 52 Democratic members of the United States political sphere at the time. That included Senate and Congress. About 52. Of that 52, only 6 people created the KKK. But you're claiming that the Democrats are the party of the KKK. It seems to me that those 6 people were the party of the KKK. Now, were those 6 people conservative or were they progressive?
If it was just 6 people, what are we talking about then? If it was just
you brought
6
this
people,
up.
John, why are you incapable of answering the questions? We would have gotten there. Yes, 6 people are the starters.
Please ask me a direct question.
We've asked you multiple. And you're not answering them. All right. Here's an extremely direct question. You only have to answer the exact thing, and you can say, I don't know. Any I don't know, I will give you the answer. When is the last time David Duke ran for public office?
Probably 67.
Incorrect. 2016. David Duke ran in 2016 for a Senate seat. What state did he run for that Senate seat?
I would say Mississippi or Alabama.
Close enough. Louisiana. Now tell me, did he run as a Democrat or a Republican?
I'm sure he ran as a Republican.
So is it the party of Democrats if it's ran by Republicans?
But say that again. If
ran by Republicans, how is it the party of Democrats today, now, as in the people we need to worry about this moment, the people it has the most in common with? Because the thing you were not directly answering before is the only difference between the Klan and MAGA at large is the race stuff. They have the otherwise exact same America first conservative values. They want the Lord in the classrooms. They want to tamp down on immigration. They want everything else is the same, but they also think that white people are superior to everybody else. That's the only difference. So now asking you again the direct question, John, hang on. You'll get your opportunity to respond because I'm going to ask you a question that jumps on it. If the values of the Klan are such that the leadership of the Klan is not just a Republican, but enthusiastically MAGA, how would you categorize that as a Democrat organization?
If you were to say that just because somebody is a conservative, that it would be white supremacy or whatever. You just said it was 6 people, so it's an insignificant.
No, you are once again ignoring kind of thing. 6 people was how it started. The organization of people who created it was conservative Democrats. Conservative Democrats started it. 6 people did, and they used conservatism. They used conservatism to spread.
But use that word.
Hey, John,
conservatism.
Correct. They were conservative Democrats.
Not to be progressive, but
they
to
were
conserve.
Conserve racism.
Conservative
things work.
Conservative is not a political part. John. Conservative is not a specific political party. It is an ideology. Okay, so you're sitting here telling us that it's the Democrats that are the party of the KKK, and that conservative movement, you specifically said that conservatives are not affiliated with the KKK. You said that to the call screener, right? That conservative movement is not affiliated with the KKK. Yet if we do a Venn diagram, right? Or if I give 2 circles and a circle is like,
okay,
what do all conservatives believe in? I'm sure that not all conservatives believe in what the KKK says. But every single member of the KKK agrees with everything the conservatives say. But I guarantee you're not going to find a single member of the Klan that is progressive. You're not going to find a single one. They're all conservative.
Yeah. I I would say that if any creep from the KKK is not be for transgender kind of, guys and girls.
But you said Democrat.
Always catching strays. Bro.
You said they're the
always
Democrats. Right. They always have to bring up trans people. You said they're the Democrats when if we look at the Venn diagrams, the overlap is tremendously higher. The Klan to the Republicans versus. And by the way, neither Jovan nor I are Democrats. We're both socialists who don't like Democrats telling you you're wrong about the Democrats.
Because you know what number is not going to have overlap. You know what Venn diagram won't have any overlap. Klansmen who have progressive values, but you know what does? Democrats who have progressive values.
I pretty much agree with that. Yeah, but I mean,
okay, so then you would have to agree that the Klan does vibe with the conservative movement. As Jimmy said, they're America first. They want us out of like all international conflicts. They want all the money to go to America. They don't want any sort of immigrants in here, especially minority immigrants. Like these are all things that are perpetuated by the Republican Party.
The only thing I have in common with the Klan is the opposition of funding Israel's war in Gaza, but for very different reasons. Theirs is because they would like to see Israel fall and they are very anti-Semitic. Mine is because I don't support genocides. That's our entire and even that one you can't say quite intercepts. So we've got a tiny little peck on the cheek versus the Republicans, which how close it gets to being a circle should make many more of you much more uncomfortable.
That was very well said. And
what I do, baby.
I agree with that. And the extremism, when you guys paint with a broad brush, it's kind of like everybody says this, or all of the things are like this, and you're Republican, so therefore you think this way, or you vote that way because of this and that. It's just...
Well, you have to acknowledge that you... Wait, can you acknowledge, John, that you vote alongside of the Ku Klux Klan? You and the Klan cast the same vote.
No.
You vote the same way as David Duke. Did you vote for... Do you vote for
meaning what?
Republicans?
Meaning zero illegal people in the
meaning
country?
there is overlap. There is overlap between the ideals that you hold and the ideals that David Duke holds. You guys hold very similar ideals.
And that is the point. That is the point. Don't just I would just suggest that painting with that broad brush, saying like just because
should we go through the list again?
I think there should be limited immigration.
How dare you say broad brush?
You said we should be hanging people.
Broad brush. You said the Klan was the party of the Democrats. Okay, John, what year were you born? John, what year were you born?
72.
How many times in your lifetime would you guess the Ku Klux Klan endorsed a Democrat for president?
Oh, that's a good question. I would probably say 0.
You are correct. It is 0. In fact, the last time they did it, John, was 1924. They did not endorse Obama. They did not endorse Harris. They did not endorse Biden. They didn't even endorse Dukakis. They have not endorsed a Democrat since 1924, meaning they didn't even wait for the party switch before the Democrats weren't conservative enough for them. I assume you reject that the party switch happened.
So those 6 people were the real kind of the swing voters, huh? That was that.
I don't know what you're referring to. The 6 people were conservative Democrats, and the conservatism stayed, but the party left them.
Conservatism means let's keep it the way it is. Let's not flip the box over and
conservatism
just
is nationalism.
Over.
Conservatism is nationalism, traditionalism, Christianity.
I think nationalism is a good thing.
That's-
you know, I
We knew
What
that
is-
already,
wait,
John.
wait,
So
wait,
did
wait,
they.
John,
It was a good
John.
thing.
We already knew that.
John, can you tell me,
America first.
John, can you wait. Can you just tell me what you think nationalism is? Like what do
We
you
said
think
America first.
nationalism even is?
Okay, America first. Hey, man, fly that flag out in front of it could be England, it could be Germany, it could be, Yugoslavia, whatever. It doesn't matter. You fly that flag out in front of your house, and you're
It does
proud
matter.
of where you are, and that comes.
That's
first.
not
It's
that's not nationalism. That's not nationalism. You're just describing patriotism. Just being proud of your country is just standard patriotism. Nationalism,
Which is
means
also
that you
creepy.
think that your country, you think that your country is more important than others. That your country should have everything at the expense of any other country. Is that what you believe in?
Once again, that's that broad brush that I talked about. It's just like
It's not a broad
we
brush.
could
I'm
put
asking
ourselves
you a
first, but
direct question.
We could help USAID. Come on, like really?
John, what's your
How
favorite
many
breakfast
millions
food?
of dollars and billions of dollars have we, tried to? And
Hey, John.
I'm okay with that. Like,
John,
hey,
what's your-
Uganda needs money.
What's your
Gotcha.
favorite breakfast
Got
food, John?
It's bacon.
All right, I just wanted to see if you were capable of giving a direct answer. Bacon, by the way, like America, extremely overrated.
also don't really
American
like
bacon
bacon.
is not great.
Nationalism is a political ideology that basically emphasizes loyalty, whether it is earned or not. It is the reason why a lot of nations end up failing, because they demand your consigned loyalty instead of your earned loyalty. And then by the time you realize they're fucking up, it's because you have no money and you're poor. And right now we're seeing that nationalism at play as inflation is going absolutely insane, as Donald Trump is actually going out and saying eggs are now cheaper than when Biden was president, and nobody reports on that. And gas is cheaper than when Biden was president, and nobody reports on that. Hey, John, are eggs and gas cheaper?
Well, to use the government as a crutch
No. Just like you said, bacon.
Is a very
Just like you said, bacon. Are eggs and gas cheaper?
No. Kinda.
No, they are not. John,
Oh.
why if your points are so strong, why can't you make them without lying?
Wait, I will say the one thing. Gas is dropping. But like electricity
where
isn't.
is gas dropping?
No,
Gas is going up.
Crude oil and gasoline are going down.
When? Since when? It's literally up in Texas right now.
But it's been like nationwide. It's going down.
From Biden or from Trump's administration also would be the question.
I don't know who it's from, but like nationwide gas has been, but electricity costs have been skyrocketing. They're through the roof.
Right. Fuel costs are up. I don't know where you're seeing gas prices cheaper. We're literally watching.
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull it. I'll pull it up right now. And I'll send it to you.
There's always issues. There's always issues with the supply line. Like, we had the bird flu, whatever, a year ago.
How come when
Biden
Biden was president, MAGA said Biden was the reason gas is up? But when Trump is president, it's all, well, there's always issues with the supply line.
Because he's shutting down the crooked, I'm gonna go to Europe for a minute, just as okay, example.
Cool. The place we aren't buying most of our crude oil from. Go to Europe.
From Russia, but everybody wants to shut down Russia.
Mm-hmm. And why?
Because of the Ukraine debacle.
The thing that Donald Trump promised he would have ended before he even took office.
Day one.
That one. Before day one.
Can't wait.
Donald Trump said it will be easy if you elect me before I even take office. I will have ended that conflict. Did he lie or not?
He said it was 24 hours.
Correct.
So that was wrong.
Right. And how's that turned out?
Yeah. Well, it's ongoing.
John, what has he done right?
It's still ongoing.
What has he
can you
done
tell me?
right?
Can you tell us like one? Can you tell us one policy he's put through that's like successful?
Oh, I would say the southern border of the United States. That's a significant.
He's caused construction because of his immigration policy specifically. Construction costs are through the roof, and like 50% of American farms are about to go into foreclosure because they don't have anybody working their farms.
I think that has a lot to do. I think that has a lot to do with foreign governments, purchasing land in bulk.
Nope. It is directly tied to. By the way, Jimmy, I sent you from the EIA. It is directly because of specifically his tariff policies and his immigration policies are the direct reason why like 50% of American farms are about to file for bankruptcy. And we're up 30% from last year. Last year, we're up 30% have already filed for bankruptcy.
I was under the impression that the ethanol kind of the government paying people to not grow corn or to not grow things because they would create a surplus and then it would make it cheaper. And then,
we're lied to.
That's actually, speaking out of my lane right
There
now.
are elements, though, of what you're saying is correct. They have to motivate people to not grow soy right now because it will create a surplus. Do you know why? Who's our number one soy client?
China.
And what's happened with China's soy? What major policy has changed?
Probably
it's the T word.
Communism.
No. It's the T word.
Communism.
What?
It's the T word.
Oh my God.
Why did China start buying their soy from other countries? It's a T word. It's not trans. I know that's the one y'all think is everybody's problems. What's the T word that is the reason why they are buying from other countries now? Rhymes with sheriffs.
Trade. Tariff. Well,
yes, Donald Trump's tariffs have made all of our countries that were our trade allies reevaluate, because he sat there and went, not just did he think America first, he thought America only. He didn't realize our trade deals are there because they're consistent and people relied on us to be consistent. He threw a level of volatility in where they basically went, we don't even care if we end up back on an acceptable deal. Now that we know America will throw wrenches this hard, we'll go get even a slightly worse deal if we have to from a country who will commit to a longer term of consistency than worry that when after Donald Trump gets done, Trump Jr. or Barron or whoever else is going to come and do the same thing and treat us in their very ultra-nationalist way like we are merely an adversary when we are in fact actual trade allies, as he's out there lying about what, for example, a trade deficit is. That a trade deficit means you deserve to receive more from a country when trade deficits are a sign of a positive economy. He got rid of trade deficits and our inflation has suffered and our trades have suffered. So you're sitting here as you're even talking about, when you're talking about the surplus things and the government now having to pay money that we have less of because we have less trade allies to people to get them to not make soy. So there isn't a surplus of soy because we don't have as many people to sell the soy to. And we don't have as many people to sell the soy to because Donald Trump is a fifth grader when it comes to economics. Your guy is the reason all of these things are getting destabilized, John.
Okay, but to suggest that was an even playing field to begin with is ridiculous.
Who said that?
Well, you're saying that the tariffs are hurting the
basic economics.
The back and forth.
You don't tariff broadly like that. You can use tariffs specifically for, let's say that Canada has a surplus year with eggs. This is how other countries do it, except for countries that we don't have as good of trade agreements with and their economy suffers. So if they have a milk and egg surplus in Canada, we can put a tariff down to go, no. You're not going to buy the cheap eggs and milk from Canada because that's going to fuck over our farmers. That's the way you economically,
they can't swap.
Listen,
yes.
That's the way you do it, and you do it on a case-by-case basis. Blanket tariffs is something that I've only taken whatever you would call it, freshman introductory levels of economic classes, and it's covered in the first year. Blanket tariffs are bad for the economy, and we've literally seen that play out. since the blanket tariffs came out.
Were they really blanket tariffs?
Yes.
It wasn't just on specific, electronics or
Correct.
Or
Minimum
No,
10% on
he did broad
wheat or
sweeping
rice
tariffs.
or
minimum 10%
No.
on everybody, on everything, and then additional tariffs on top of that for specific things. By the way, sometimes not even targeting countries. He targeted iPhones because he was mad at Apple. So an American company, he didn't worry about where they were coming from. He targeted tariffs specifically against an American company that is traded on the American stock market and put Americans' 401ks in danger. Like, whatever value you think he has, you need to ask yourself, does it make him personally richer? And that is whether or not he actually has that value. Otherwise, you are getting played for a fool. As my own New York grandpa would have said, John, he has made a hoople out of you.
Yes, but I believe that's called a hedge fund where you just everything, as you said, and I'm using this statement again, and I can't believe I'm doing it. But paint with a broad brush, saying like, okay, you should be specifically targeted. I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Then he wouldn't have done over 95% of the tariffs he did. There was not justification for 95% plus tariffs that he did. And as a result, you, John, are more likely to leave this world poor than you were before he was president.
Look at what was happening prior to his tariffs.
Better things.
It was 40%.
Literally, the economy was better.
To 10%, 40% to 10%.
Things were better. Things were better before him. Just because they weren't perfect doesn't mean, and no one here has said, do nothing, make no trade deals, improve nothing. Clearly, everybody smart wants to improve trade deals. Everybody smart wants to make the world metaphorically smaller. Right? And you could do a lot of things by, like, for example, improving us to a more open borders policy and bringing people in and being able to coordinate with other countries by not having so many regulations at these imaginary borders. But we don't do that kind of shit. Donald Trump makes himself richer and louder and more authoritarian, and you and I suffer, John. And now your free speech is fucked.
Imaginary borders? What?
Yes, borders are imaginary. John, borders are imaginary.
I don't understand.
Borders are imaginary, John. They're arbitrary lines that we draw.
What don't you under?
We can agree to disagree.
You don't understand. What are you talking about?
Where are the borders on Mars? Look at Mars. Where are the countries? Where are the borders there? They're nowhere because we make them up. Borders are imaginary. The fact, if you own your home, the fact that you think you own your home is your imagination. It is a myth you have agreed to with the government. Meanwhile, the government or many other institutions can just come take your home anytime they want. There is no borders. Borders aren't real. Yes. You can't, if you zoom out.
Borders are not imaginary.
Yes, they are. They are absolutely.
They are specific.
They are imaginary. We imagine them, and we all agreed that they're there, and we all agreed that apparently you can murder people if they go over that imaginary line. They are absolutely imaginary.
Okay. We can agree to disagree on that one. Because,
I don't agree to disagree. I agree that I'm correct.
I have my lawn.
Great.
Neighbor has his lawn.
And you know what, John?
Is that an imaginary thing?
Correct.
So therefore,
correct. It is an imaginary thing.
Landscapers need to come and, it's just.
John, you know what's very funny about the argument you're making is if you right now call a surveyor and have them out to show you exactly where your lawn ends and his lawn begins, there is the overwhelming chance that where you think the line is will be off by feet. That you actually will be a foot wrong. And so it will literally be imaginary because over time, one of yours will have grown in one direction versus the other, where exactly you're cutting the line. John, prove yourself completely wrong here. Call a surveyor out and have them show you exactly where the property line is. I would almost bet money that it will not be in the exact spot you've been cutting your lawn to.
Okay, but that's where the fence is.
Right, and I bet you the fence won't be in the right place.
There's no way.
I bet you the fence will
the
not
fence
be
is.
in the right place because fences are not borders. You can put a fence where the imaginary border is, but a fence isn't inherently a border because I can put a fence. I have a fence in my backyard that comes next to the driveway on the inside edge. So that's not a border because both the driveway on one side of it and the yard on the other side of it are both on my property. So fences aren't inherently borders because I can put them either on a border or through the middle or anywhere else.
Yeah. Okay. We can agree to disagree on that one because when somebody comes on to say my property and it's whatever nebulous kind of thing that you might suggest it is, like, okay, well, it's not my front door. Okay, it's not my kitchen. It's some.
It's a myth you have agreed to. It's a myth you have agreed to that as soon as the government decides they want it, there's literally laws for them to take it. And people get fucked by them all the time when a bridge is going and the government's supposed to compensate you for taking it because it isn't actually yours. And the government compensates according to what they say it's worth, not what you think it's worth. They don't give a shit about your sentimental value. You don't own shit.
I will agree with you 100%. And I'll tell you why. Because
I'm right.
If I'm going to use an F word or whatever, F-bomb or something, well, yeah, they do whatever the fuck they want.
And if Russia tomorrow takes over the country, it's their land now because they're imaginary and they're myths that we agree on. And generally, we just go, all right, well, whoever can kill me gets to keep this.
Eminent domain. They say, well, oh, this is my shit now. And then
good on you knowing the words.
I got you. Yes, and I'm sorry for using the curse words. I'm a New Yorker. I'm sorry.
I don't give a fuck. All right, John. I think we're going to move on because
guys, it's been a pleasure.
Great.
It has been a pleasure.
I'm glad it was a pleasure for you,
conversing with you guys.
Thank you, John.
I really appreciate your time and your effort and
great.
Fight the good fight, man.
Great. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Stay well.
I think I have to take. You see line 14 there?
I do, yeah. Oh, wait,
because of specifically our company and how it works. Yeah. All right. You good with that one?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Lindsay, I'm in Texas also. Lindsay in Texas, how are you doing? Lindsay in Texas, you're on the line with Jovan and Jimmy, and Lindsay hung up. Lindsay, I hope you call back because I was very excited to engage your topic. I won't ruin it for people yet and tell you what it was, but I was stoked to take your topic, Lindsay. I was stoked specifically with your accusation and the absolute amount of ignorance one would have had to have called in for their foundation to make such a declaration about my occupation. Wow. I'm like Common up in here. That was poetry.
It's
terrible.
I'm not gonna say anything. Not a word on that one.
I'm like Common, but like least common denominator. All right, going to Kaylin. Maybe you can tell us how to pronounce it. Kaylin.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead. Give me your pronunciation. I'll reproduce. Kaylin is right.
Yeah.
All right. Kaylin is on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. Kaylin, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Just fine.
We're chilling.
Good.
Well, Kaylin, what have you had to tell us?
I was just wondering, because I'm a Christian conservative young man here, and I was just curious. You guys group the Christian and conservative and MAGA all together, like it's like I don't know. I don't really know how to put this into words, but it's like you put it like a bad thing. Like I get that you're opposed to it, and you guys want to debate it, like people in that
it's
group.
Not a bad thing.
Like, right?
Is it?
It's just.
I'm sorry. Is it not a bad thing?
It's I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I mean,
what is it
obviously.
you're saying isn't a bad thing? It's bad that we group Christians, conservatives, and Christian conservatives with MAGA, or we shouldn't group Christian conservatives with MAGA?
I mean, I don't necessarily think you shouldn't, but just the way you grouped them together, like you're opposed to it, or something like that. Like, obviously you are opposed to it.
We are.
I think the MAGA movement is the modern Nazi movement, and I think most Christian conservatives are a part of it, but I recognize that there are outliers.
Right, which I would strongly disagree with you about that. But yeah,
Which part? Which part would you disagree with?
I don't think that MAGA is the modern day Nazi movement, like you said.
You should tell the modern day Nazis that. Once you're done debating with us, whether it is, go debate with them, because they sure think so.
I don't think I know any modern day Nazis.
I just really want to wait really quickly.
Take a look.
Maybe I'm missing. Maybe I'm just missing something. But like, does MAGA push for a Christian nationalist nation?
Yes, I guess so. Yes, it would.
Okay, so then what are we confused about then? Why shouldn't we be grouping Christians and MAGA together when like MAGA is pushing for Christian nationalism?
I just think they're like I think MAGA is like, when you think of MAGA, especially if you're on the side of the left, you think of a lot more hateful. And I just like, I don't know. I just wouldn't group that like all Christians in MAGA.
Did you vote for did you specifically vote for like Donald Trump?
I did not, because I'm 17, but I would if I could.
Would you vote for him again?
So then you're hateful.
Would you vote for him again in 2028 if he figures out a way to bypass the Constitution and run again?
No, I think that is completely against the Constitution, and that's something that's a big step in. Well,
let's just look at the exit polls real quick. 63% of religious voters, 63% of Trump's vote, 63% of voters for Trump were Christians. Trump got 63% of the Christian vote and 59% of the Catholic vote. So it seems like sects of Christianity would rather vote for Trump and MAGA than they would for the Democrats.
I would agree that that the Republicans' ideology aligns up a lot more with Christians than the Democrats do. But
then we should group them together.
If let's say Kamala Harris is the nominee in 2028. Trust me, I don't want that any more than you do. But let's say that that is who is the nominee, and it's Harris against Trump again. Who will you vote for in that scenario?
That's a tough one.
No, it isn't.
No,
it isn't. You said you have a value. It should be easy, because you said that would be a step toward authoritarianism, correct?
Right. Yeah. It definitely would. That would be moving MAGA more towards the Nazi movement than than I would like.
So you do acknowledge that the fact that he's giving out hats that say Trump 2028 and that he does intend to run in 2028, that he is broadcasting an attempt at a more Nazi-like movement, and that he does intend to bypass the Constitution if he can figure out a way. So it's not that he's there yet. He just means to be more like a Nazi. He just hasn't achieved it yet.
Right. We just have to keep him on the leash a little bit longer or whatever. But
so answer my question now. If it was Trump versus Kamala Harris, and Trump has bypassed the Constitution, ends up on 2028, and you acknowledge that that would get us being closer to being more like Nazis, who would you vote for? More like Nazis or Kamala Harris?
Ooh, I think, honestly, I probably would. I would probably vote. What do you call the little groups? I would vote neither.
You'd vote third party. Great. So just so you know, you want us to believe you guys aren't the modern Nazi movement, but when faced with Nazism, when faced with totalitarianism, when faced with dictatorship, you just said you would not vote against it. Good values you have there. Well done, Kaylin.
It is an interesting way to put it, but I'm not like. Man,
is the interesting way to put it that it was accurate?
in a way, I guess, because
Yeah.
I'm not.
In a way, kind of seems
In
like
a
it's
way.
In
the
all
only
the
way you
ways.
can look at it is that it's accurate. Like
Frankly,
the only way you
every
can,
way.
like the
Right,
only
but-
way to look at it is as an accurate statement.
But it would. I'm not trying to like. I wouldn't be trying to vote for it. But I just sit down and let it happen. You know, it's not like I'm just gonna just let whatever happens happen.
Do you think that we
Wait.
do you think we think better of Germans in the 1930s who knew that the Holocaust was coming and sat back and let it happen? Do you think that they're not as bad as other Nazis?
Taking this to a pretty
SS,
extreme level.
stand back,
In no way
stand by.
is the modern. Right. I in no way is the modern MAGA movement as extreme as the Germans and
You want to
World War
bet?
II.
You want to bet? You want to bet?
Yeah,
You
you
wanna bet?
are
I
incorrect.
would like to bet.
The
I'll
only
bet you my $20.
do you
Okay.
even know what
Is
he only knows the Nazis for the Holocaust? I guarantee you he has no idea what their political ideology was in the 30s.
I know
let
they
me ask
were,
you a question.
pretty
Let me ask
conservative.
you a question. Let me ask you a question. If
Uh,
MAGA, right? Like, let's say if the Trump administration, like,
yes, sir.
kidnapped a bunch of people, would you say this is
Okay.
very similar to what the Nazis did? What if they opened up camps where they concentrated large groups of people? Would this be
Well,
similar
you're
to
about
the Nazi
You're
Party?
about to try to compare. Right. You're about to try to compare illegals coming into our country as Jews that already lived in Germany or whatever.
Do you
but-
know who? Do you know a fun fact about Jewish people in Germany? Do you know that they became illegal? It was illegal to be a Jewish person in Germany.
Yes, but they didn't cross the border illegally.
Interesting.
To
Hey,
begin
Kaylin.
with.
Hey,
It
Kaylin.
wasn't like a.
Kaylin, so first
Yes,
of all, what happened in concentration camps was terrible because it was humans, whether they were illegal or
Right.
not. But second of all,
Yeah.
what has Donald Trump said about those concentration camps and deporting people? Did he say he only wants to use them for illegal immigrants? Or did he say that he has to figure out how to get rid of around the Constitution so we can start using them for our own people also? Remind me which one it was again?
I am not sure. To my knowledge, he hasn't said anything about.
Yes, he has.
using
In
it
the
on our
White
own.
House, in
but-
the Oval Office, at the Resolute desk, he actually said those words that we need to figure out, start sending our people there, start using them on our people. So even as you're trying to designate that a human can be illegal, therefore, if an illegal immigrant, so in the Holocaust, 6 million Jews died, but let's say a black person snuck in to Germany and ended up in one of those camps. Do they deserve to be in one of those concentration camps from back in Germany?
I don't know why anybody would sneak into Germany during World War II.
Yeah,
That'd
no
be,
shit, me neither. But let's go ahead and answer the hypothetical.
All right. Sure, why not? Put them in there. Why would they go into Germany? That's their mistake.
Kaylin, I think the reason why you laughed is you knew, oh shit, I have to say something that makes me sound like a goddamn psychopath, because clearly what is fucked up about what happened in the Holocaust was it was happening to humans, regardless of their status as legal or illegal, which, as Jovan already pointed out, they were made illegal. As, by the way, as our immigrants here, because America used to have a much more open borders policy, we closed up our borders to be able to exploit labor, not because we didn't want them in here, to be able to take away their rights and to exploit them. And we've seen that that's how it's gone. So they've been made illegal, and you're basically going, yeah, but if they're illegal, fuck what happens to them. Fuck the torturous conditions. Fuck the inhumanity. Why would I care about the humanity of a person that Donald Trump calls poisoning our country, calls animals, even was acknowledged on air, I'm not supposed to call them animals, but they are animals, because it is dehumanizing. It's technically correct, we're all animals, but that's not the way he was using it. He was using it as a form of othering. So
But
I don't
like,
quite understand how you can sit there and be like, yeah, but they're illegal. So what?
I think the fact of the matter changes when they're like these crime committing hoodlums that are crossing the border and just
Which is a much lower percentage than legal citizens.
Wait.
Hoodlums.
What about all of the ones that have not committed a crime that are still being sent to concentration camps?
They can sit through the legal process of becoming a
No, they
citizen.
can't. The
like my grandpa
the
did.
system is created to not let them
That's
do
not what
that.
I'm asking. wait, even that's not even what I'm asking. The ones who are here just working, who are not committing crime, who are paying into the system, who are doing all of these things, do they deserve to sit in a concentration camp?
I don't think they deserve to sit in a concentration camp. Honestly, if
they
have
are.
no crimes of a record.
But they are. So you agree they don't deserve it, yet they are.
Yeah, and that's really
why
unfortunate.
Are people?
But, you know,
why were people who were convicted of no crimes thrown into a prison in another country?
Because they crossed the border illegally, and it's a crime.
Whoa! Hold on.
It's a crime. It's a crime.
So that means they. Do you know what the punishment for an illegal border crossing is? It's a fine.
What is it?
Typically you get fined. But Trump took people and trafficked them to another country and threw them in prison.
Right. That's pretty unfortunate.
Right.
Hold on.
Hang on. I want to read to you basically the outline of the Republican strategy from 2024 and just see how much of these things with MAGA you align on, so I can know what your values are before we continue it. Okay. So MAGA using slogans like "Make America Great Again," "New Jobs," promises left. They wanted to push job creation and also heavy appeal to family values, mother and child, that kind of thing. You agree with that one?
I do like the, how do you call that? The atomic family of the.
Cool. I'm just checking. Yeah. Sweeping promises that we're going to have economic recovery, we're going to have stability, and we're going to restore America first, national greatness. And talking about that by also contrasting against different trade deals and treaties we have made, basically saying like the reason why those things aren't happening are those trade deals, kind of, let's be honest, scapegoating a little bit, or at least blaming those trade deals with like Mexico and others as a source of America's problems. Would you say that that's generally something you align with? I'm not saying that's good or bad, just that's what they ran on. Would you say that that's what they align with? Yep.
Generally, I would, yes, sure.
Also, definitely talked about how frightening it must be as an American right now to be faced with unemployment, fears of poverty, how much morality is declining in America, fear of socialism and that takeover and needing to prevent socialism, and basically saying we are the one force that can stop that kind of communist socialist takeover because that's where we're heading. We're going to renew the nation as the America First nation it is. Is that all correct?
I would agree that I don't like socialism.
But would you agree with that general part of the platform, right?
Right.
They promised to protect farmers in cities. They emphasized people in cities from the crime that's happening there. They talked about we need law and order, and we're going to end political chaos by emphasizing law and order. Agree or disagree with that part of the platform?
Agree.
Cool. They had huge rallies with Donald Trump at the front, using the best technology to broadcast it out everywhere they can, making this big spectacle and doing these tours to have these big speeches for large crowds, basically amplifying everything with new media. That was another big part of their platform and plan. And you did or you didn't support that?
I supported all that for most part.
Just so you know, I lied and I just kept switching the words to America and MAGA. That was the Nazi platform in the 1930s. You just agreed to every element 100% with the propaganda approach of the Nazis in the 30s and how they elected Hitler. Just so you know, they're so different, but you loved everything. In 1930s, you would have been calling us and saying the same thing. Of course, I agree with bread and work, mother and child, which were the Nazi slogans. The Nazi slogans were bread and work, mother and child. That literally line for line, you just accepted the Nazi government.
That is kind of crazy. The one thing I didn't accept is the mass murder of 6 million people, which is, that's kind of a big part of it. But
so you liked the foundation, but not the result.
So like when they
I
sent a bunch of people who didn't deserve it into camps and concentrated them into areas, and then like in really terrible conditions, you didn't like that? Like when they did that, like when Trump sent a bunch of people to CCOT.
Obama has deported more people than Trump, I'm pretty sure.
I don't
Obviously,
do
know that.
whataboutisms. I didn't like Obama's deportation policy, and I didn't support it when Obama did it.
Obama's a war criminal. He
Right.
deserves to rot in prison.
Like what?
Nice try. With
This
the
is why
whataboutism.
whataboutisms don't work against people who also don't like the Democrats.
Right.
Just
You're right.
throwing that out there.
So you guys said you're socialist?
Correct.
That's what I heard last night, the last conversation.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
Well, I'm a full communist,
you
but
guys-
yeah.
It's still that's
You're a
I make the
communist?
distinction. It's a
I feel like
subset of
communism
that's a
never
subset
really
of
works,
socialism. What?
No, it's
Right.
not.
Yes, it is. So communism is a kind of
It's not.
socialism. Yes, it absolutely
No,
is.
socialism has a state. Communism doesn't have a state.
So that is a type of oh my goodness. I can't do this fight
No,
with Jovan
socialism.
right now. We're gonna do the
socialism
pedantic
is,
thing.
No, it's not pedantic.
Socialism is
an
the
economic.
umbrella. Communism is the
socialism
kind of
is ec-
socialism.
No.
Okay.
No, we'll fight about
Kaylin,
that.
what
for
were you
sure.
asking about?
Is this the new? Is
I
this the
don't
new
even gotta
Apple?
be at the-
Is this the
debate.
new
Which you
Apple
were
debate?
wrong about. Anyway, go on.
I was just saying, like, what country has socialism or communism worked in? Because I think,
Cuba.
generally speaking,
Cuba.
I would have to disagree with that.
Would you? You want me to go through some stats with you real quick?
Kaylin, also
Because
the embarrassing thing for you is America. Every time we have stopped capitalism from destroying America, it was with socialism. Just so you know.
let me just run through some things about Cuba real quick. Prior to Castro overthrowing the United States, because the U.S. occupied Cuba, Cuba went from a 25% literacy rate to 100% literacy rate. They went from a 50-year life expectancy to a 70-year life expectancy. Their infant mortality dropped lower than our infant mortality. They have more doctors per capita than we do. They have so many doctors that they send their doctors to other countries for free because they have an overabundance of doctors because schooling is free over there. Seems like it's working pretty well, doesn't it?
I don't remember, is Cuba a first world country? I don't remember that.
First world, a country is just labeled as first, second, or third world if based upon their proximity to capitalism. Like that's it.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just a random kid sitting on his couch right now. Like I don't have those stats.
Please start educating yourself before you vote.
Yeah, I got a year to do that, so we'll be good.
You need to start now. You're far away because you currently you need to counter educate all the bullshit you've been eating.
I wish I knew more so I could like debate y'all better, but I really don't think it's bullshit.
So you don't
Yeah,
know.
but you don't think it's bullshit. You say
the,
that based on nothing. That's the
Right.
problem, Kaylin. Listen. When
You
I
feel
was your
it's
age,
not
I
bullshit.
also thought about. I thought like I had beliefs about shit based on nothing. I'm telling you that your beliefs are based on quite literally nothing. There's nothing holding that bridge together. Let it collapse and then rebuild a bridge based on actual like logic and facts, not just like I feel like immigrants suck, so I'm gonna support the fascists.
I feel like a big part of it that aligns me with the conservatives is my religious beliefs, and that's where I was going next. Is like
You told
your
us
problem, like,
not to group Christians, MAGA, and conservatives together, and now you're like the only reason why I vote MAGA is because I'm a Christian.
I don't vote MAGA for one, but
well, you don't vote yet.
Oh, I didn't.
Sorry, the only reason I support conservatism is
Wait. So, Kaylin, you're not planning on voting for JD Vance in 2028 if that's the nominee?
Honestly, I probably would vote for JD Vance if it was versus
So you
Kamala
would
Harris.
vote MAGA. You just haven't voted
would
MAGA
vote
because
MAGA.
you haven't been old
I
enough
haven't yet, but I would.
Correct.
Exactly.
Wait, what? Listen,
So
I
you're
don't
now
like.
being pedantic.
I'm not like a big fan of Kamala Harris, but what about Kamala Harris makes you go, I'm not voting for the like prosecutor, the person whose job it was to like maintain law and order, the thing that you claim to hate?
What? I claim to hate law and order.
Well, you must. You don't want to
Like I
vote
do.
for the person whose job it was to maintain it, so you must hate law and order.
She didn't. I don't have the exact stats, but she did an awful job being the what's it called in California or whatever that was. What was she in California?
What awful thing did she do in California?
Like I said, I don't have the exact stats. Like,
so you
I just know
heard
she was really
somebody
bad.
say she did awful things in California, but you don't actually know
I
she
guess
did.
I guess there is a little bit of hearsay, but I'm like 80% positive she did a really bad job in California.
Great, Kaylin. I'd like
Based on what? This is what I'm talking about. The bridge is falling apart. It's not being held together by anything but thoughts and beliefs.
Please
Where's
watch
the actual anything?
I'm not going to try to send you to videos of my ideology versus you, whatever. I'm going to ask you to spend the night watching YouTube videos or whatever source you prefer, podcasts, whatever, on what skepticism is, completely devoid of what the belief system is. So you could apply it to religion, you apply it to politics or anything, just blanket, like, what is skepticism, and learn what that is, because you have such, what I also had at 17, what I was raised with, what I've heard in my communities and everything. These people wouldn't lie to me, so I'll just adopt it because I benefit when I go into those communities by accepting those things as true. And it can be very scary to shake that up and challenge those communities because those are your people. Those are your communities. But right now, Kaylin, I have to imagine that perhaps even the MAGA people on the phone, I'm not sure, who are waiting on hold, have to be thinking like, Kaylin, I think you're on the right side, but your justification is bad. So if you're going to speak for us, go learn why you're correct. Now, I think they're wrong, but presumably that's what a person who does think that they are well-reasoned to be on that side. We're not going to do like Charlie Kirk would have done and been like, oh, look at this ignorant person. Let's just keep setting up a T-ball and keep hitting home runs off of this guy and show them like, wow, look how bad the right is at this. We're actually going to encourage you to go become a better debater, go become a better sourced person, and then come back and have the conversation with us again, because there is no real benefit of just sitting here and being like, here's another thing you're super wrong and ignorant about. Not any more than getting you to literally agree with the Nazi propaganda platform that they used to get into power in the 1930s. And nothing worse than you saying, I guess the only thing I don't like about the Nazis was the Holocaust, because that was crazy, Kaylin. And I think you'll probably retract that statement in a future video, I would hope. If you think that was the only thing bad about them, and that the Holocaust isn't just the end stage of that propaganda, much like communism is the end stage of socialism because it is a subset. If you don't think that that's just not where the one thing leads to, wrong on that. Well, I read Marxist theory, but anyway, Kaylin,
don't even.
Kaylin,
the next debate is me and Jimmy. Swear to God,
it might have to be. Well, not today. We're going to come back with sources and do a full-on one. But Kaylin, please consider that and retract your statement there.
Yes, sir. Well, I don't know about retracting the statement because I don't remember what I said. I'm pretty tired right now.
Go back and watch the video again. You definitely should hear yourself endorse Nazism except for the Holocaust. It's kind of crazy.
Right. Well, I think like what was I saying? Well, one thing. There was one thing I was gonna say, and I kept rolling through my head, and I can't remember it now. I feel like a lot of my beliefs that like why I would never align with the Democrats is honestly from my religious beliefs. I think I've already said this though, but like
Jesus would have been the biggest Democrat on the planet, my G. Well, he would have been the biggest. Actually, would have been the biggest communist on the planet. But Jesus would align with leftism more than anything else. Just look up Matthew 25, sheep and the goats, and then come back to us.
I do not agree with that at all. I think you're completely wrong.
Look, Jesus, I'm just gonna put this on for you. In the Bible specifically, Jesus says the only way you're getting to heaven is by giving food to the hungry, water to the thirsty, giving money to the poor, letting in people who are not from your country, so literally letting in strangers, visiting people in prison, and healing the sick. None of those are fucking Republican values. Not a single one is a conservative value. Conservatives are against doing most of those things. They're about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. You know who is never about bootstrapping it? Jesus Christ.
I'm curious. I'm curious. What do you know? Do you think there will be a lot of rich people in heaven?
Probably not. No.
Well, that's good because neither did Jesus. And yet you're in the party of the rich people that supports the rich people at all costs. Do you know what Jesus said about rich people getting into heaven?
It would be harder for a camel to fit
pass through the eye of a needle. Yeah. Yeah. What's the chapter verse there? Do you know?
I do not know. I don't know the direct quote.
It's Matthew
whatever you call
19. I just want to point out before you do the you're wrong there. Try not to come on to a show with people who are going to know the Bible quite well. We know
Right.
generally the things we're going to bring up and speak on are things that we have an above average knowledge of. So it's fine that you think we're wrong, but no, once again, that's a feeling based thing. And weirdly, I bet you I could trick you into not being able to know the difference between a phrase from Bernie Sanders or Jesus Christ, in the same way that you weren't able to distinguish from Nazis and the Republican MAGA platform. But Kaylin, I think we're going to leave it there because we've only got 25 minutes left and a couple of people we'd like to chat with still.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, Kaylin.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I hope that that's a future child saved from the propaganda nonsense, but I hope against what I've seen the success of fascism so far. I will say that was your average turning point, kid. If you ask
100%.
me. Yeah.
100%. TP USA, everybody.
Yep.
Didn't they just pick who was going to take that over?
Jimmy sounds like a libertarian with leftist talking points. Well, I'm a small L libertarian socialist. I'm not a full on communist, though I recognize, because I understand it, that the end stage of socialism will be communism. But I think we're far from that end stage.
You can also get to communism without socialism.
You think so? Successfully?
Yes, that's what anarcho-communism is.
Via Marxism? Oh,
you skip the socialist part. That's why I'm saying it's like saying that. I guess you could, but it's like saying that a butterfly. It's like saying that Butterfree and Metapod are the same Pokemon. They are at evolution, maybe, but I wouldn't call Butterfree a version of Metapod.
But I would call both of them in the Caterpie family, and I think Caterpie there is the socialism.
I would say if it was like a mega evolution, then I would agree. I would say like Mega Butterfree is just a version of Butterfree. It's an end stage of Butterfree.
Did you read?
I wouldn't.
What's it called in? What's the title? Critique of Gotha.
Critique of the Gotha program.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
I would say that's the basis of my argument that communism is end stage socialism.
It depends on how you get there, and then it's also dependent on how you're viewing, like, because a lot of political theorists will view socialism as an economic program, while they view communism as a more broader social program, not just an economic program.
So this
is where I would have
you advocating then for, like, would your anarcho be an almost accelerationist thing where there's not going to be a transitional state between capitalism and communism?
I don't pick a side on how we get there. Like, I don't personally have a care which one way or another how we end up getting there. But I know that for most people that
kind of defeats your argument. I feel like a little bit. If you're not going to take a side,
I don't have to hold the stance to. No, I don't have to hold the stance to talk about the stance. What?
If getting to communism is only practically done via
Let me phrase it this way.
socialism.
I don't think we can get to communism or even socialism through democratic socialism. I think it's impossible. I don't think
it would
we
have to be
the
some
political
kind of
power.
authoritarian socialism.
I think it would have to be. I think it would have to be either some sort of mass worker protest or mass worker revolt. I don't see any way of us voting ourselves into it.
Not dictatorial, I hope. Or do you think so? Individual
it would just
leader?
depend. It would depend on if there's a country like America opposing. If there's a country like America opposing, I could understand why a lot of people would go to like a Leninist model where you need the vanguard to fight against America. But like, if we're starting from America, we may not need that because we would be the imperialist power and we wouldn't be imperializing ourselves.
Yeah, I don't think we agree at all on how we're getting to where we need to go. But communism is the ultimate. Either humanity will die or eventually will be communist because there is no sustaining the innovation of AI. Like, and there won't be jobs for people at some point, which will also mean there will be no consumers. So consumerism is being innovated out of as well. Anyway, I think if there's no actual practical way to get from one place to another, then those systems can't count as alternatives to it's like I think
I don't
you're
think you
saying
have
that
to-
you
because-
aren't saying you can
no,
get from
I'm saying
Caterpie
I
to
don't-
Butterfree. You think that Metapod might be the way to get, not Metapod. What's the B one? Kakuna. That you're like, I'm not saying maybe Kakuna could get us there, but I'm not taking a side on it. I'm saying no, socialism's the only pathway through to communism.
I don't think socialism is the only way to get there. I think you can skip the state run side there.
I'm glad we brought Pokemon.
You know, you have to have a state in socialism. You just have to. It's like,
trying to get a
you know how I would
Butterfree out of a
describe it?
Kakuna.
No, you know how I would describe it in Pokemon? You could evolve Slowpoke into Slowbro, right? And then into, what's the third one?
Right, but what I'm saying is you're saying you're not taking that you could get that way. You're not taking a stance on that, and that's why I'm saying disqualifies you from
me not taking a stance. Me not taking a stance doesn't mean that those stances don't exist. It means I just don't have
it's Slowpoke, and now you're switching to Slowpoke because and I'm saying it actually is Caterpie, and you can't get there through Kakuna.
No, because you can evolve Slowpoke in 2 ways.
I know.
I'm saying I don't care which way you evolve it.
3 ways now, right?
Sure. Yeah. Well, 4 if you count his new form. If you count his
the Galarian.
Was it an Alolan version? Or was it Galarian? I don't know which version. I hate modern
with
Pokemon.
The yellow thing. I love modern.
I miss
Pokemon.
old one.
At least they didn't ruin it.
I miss
like
old
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pokemon.
Anyway.
No, I wish Yu-Gi-Oh would go back to OG Yu-Gi-Oh before the anime when Yu-Gi-Oh was like insane and people were dying left and right. Best Yu-Gi-Oh. That Lindsay
Socialism is
person's back.
Caterpie. You can't get to Butterfly through a Kakuna. He says it's Slowpoke. All right, that's our difference, and that's what we'll. That's where we'll be.
Crazy straw man.
No, that was pretty good. That's literally how we ended it. I wasn't trying to straw man you. I was saying I think it's Caterpie. You think it's Slowpoke. Is that not true?
No. Somebody said it. Somebody explained it here. You can go Slowpoke into Slowbro into Slowking, or you can get the crown stone and just go straight to Slowking. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And I'm saying
you don't have to have the Slowbro move.
So I didn't straw man. You think it's Slowpoke. I think it's Caterpie. That's not a straw man.
Sure. Yeah. No, That could be an accurate depiction of our two sides.
Thank you. All right. We found some middle ground, kind of. Let's see. Lindsay called back. Lindsay, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. Lindsay, how are you?
Oh, sorry. I was listening to my Viking song. How you doing?
Just fine, Lindsay. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great. Now, what is the point you'd like to make, Lindsay?
Who am I talking with?
This is Jimmy Snow, and that's actually an important note for the claim you're about to make, because not only am I Jimmy Snow as an influencer, I'm Jimmy Snow, the owner of The Line and the very company that puts out these debate shows across now multiple channels. Lindsay, you have no audio. I don't know if you mean to be quiet. There you go.
What? I'm not sure what you're saying.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I'm not sure what your words actually are meaning.
Great. So you're calling to make what point? This is Jimmy Snow and Jovan Bradley. Lindsay. Hello. Lindsay.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
You don't know what these words are. What language can you speak, Lindsay? Is it English? Well done. All right. Well, Lindsay is hung up. Could not understand the words coming out of my mouth. So that's fine. It happens.
What?
But Lindsay's point, as given to the screener, who apparently she could understand, was that we are being capitalistic. Influencers have become the new national whores for money. They don't care about anything else. All we care about is money. And I would ask Lindsay to have defended that with two questions. The first one would have been, in what way can a person in a capitalist society survive by behaving any way besides quote unquote capitalistic? And then two, how does she square with the absolute fact that if I suddenly became a capitalist cheerleader, Christian, everything else, that I could get a job with Turning Point USA or Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire tomorrow as the person who saw the light, shut down the line, and roughly 10x my income. If truly the only thing I care about is money, why am I specifically doing it a way that makes less money? And then I suppose I have a third
I would
question.
do so much if I became a Candace Owens type.
I literally
rolling in it.
You check so many token boxes, they would love you. It'd be like going to the arcade, nothing but wasting tokens. Okay. That's what I would have loved to hear Lindsay describe, but Lindsay did. Let's see. Is that Lindsay trying to get back in on the line there? I'm calling
There's
that.
no way.
Let me just see.
No, I think
quick.
that's probably somebody else. It's a different phone number.
Is it a different? Okay. All right. Then we'll talk to Jay, who's been waiting. Jay in Texas. We're also in Texas. Your chuckles aside, put down the bong. All right. This is going to be a troll call. Jay, what's up?
No, it ain't.
Okay.
Nah,
it's not. It's
this
so
is my first time listening to your show and first time calling, and it's like, wow.
yeah.
Some of your callers are. It's just the way the nation has gone, because I've been looking into it. Like, I don't know if you can say looking into it, but I got out of the military in 2008. So from what I'm seeing it now, it's just like, wow, the discord and the way people talk, it's like knowledge doesn't really matter. Yeah, like knowledge doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't really matter, because I think
like the
Trump,
knowledge of the
very
discord
smart.
versus discourse, for example, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because
I believe Trump. I believe Trump is very smart. I believe he's doing.
What's your evidence for that?
As a show. What's my evidence? Just because how things been going. He
asked if you could inject bleach to get rid of COVID. What?
Yeah.
It's just like how your co-hosts laugh. Like, everybody's making fun of the see. They don't know, like, this is what they want. Like, you were explaining to all these MAGA people that they want to take away your rights and everything. And instead of us explaining how he's doing that, what he's doing, we're making fun of, pretending, look at how stupid he is and everything.
No, actually, excuse me, on this episode, during these calls, we've explained in multiple ways how he's fucking you, how he's taking your freedoms away.
He's
so
not
Jay,
working for MAGA.
I'm going to ask you my question again. What evidence do you, well, weird, because it's his movement and it's his hats. Who is Donald Trump working for?
I mean, Donald Trump has always been a Democrat in the 90s, and I don't know how the Democrats would lose to him, because it's not hard to lose to the guy.
Right. Who is Donald Trump working for?
The people that he's working for now. I mean, he's just working for him. He's
Donald Trump working for? The answer, the people who Donald Trump is working for is the people who Donald Trump is working for is not an answer. It's a repetition of the question. So I will ask you again.
I guess.
Who is Donald Trump working for?
Well, whenever Donald Trump goes on these, like, his little speeches and tells people he's going to lower taxes and everything, that doesn't help the regular working class.
Hey, Jay.
It helps
What is your favorite breakfast food?
What are you talking about? I'm trying to explain.
I want to see if you are capable of a
is...
single direct answer to a single question. So far, the answer is no.
Who is he working for? Big business. Big business.
Great.
That's what he's working for. Big business.
Donald Trump is working for big business. As the
and himself.
Hang on, and himself. Great. As the leader of the free world, elected president of the U.S., who is he supposed to be working for?
Of course, us. But I'm telling you, the way he looks at it and the way MAGA looks at it.
Is he working for us? Great. So will you admit, hang on, Jay, will you admit that Donald Trump is a bad president because he is not voting or he is not working for who he was voted in to work for?
Yeah, I admitted that when I told you that what he's doing is smart and evil, not dumb and evil.
I never heard the evil part, just smart. Do you think Donald Trump is...
Well, wait. Do you believe when somebody says smart towards Trump, they're doing like a praise towards him? Because this is supposed to be a show against him. And that's why I said, like,
when
I
Donald
said
Trump
smart
is
and evil.
when Donald Trump is visibly stupid, when Donald Trump, there are lots of characteristics, not just of what we can see, but the profiles of people around him, and that the only thing he was ever actually efficient at was bullying, that he learned basically robotic bullying tactics. That's the only place he finds himself remotely good at anything is bullying. Yeah, I do think I think it is actually generally glazing to call a person who is obviously very stupid smart. So yeah, I would say it's a compliment. But there are people who are evil and were smart that you can call smart without complimenting. For example, Adolf Hitler was clearly intelligent, but was terribly evil.
But see, that's another thing. Like the Nazi thing that you're talking to MAGA, and then everybody's just focused on these catchphrases, and nobody's talking about like how he is using, like, the cutting of free speech. Like this, he's all using the Patriot Act that was wrote in by George W. Bush. That's
You're definitely correct that you have not watched this show when you said at the beginning. It's becoming very evident because you are feeling confident saying nobody is talking about, excuse me, you're saying nobody is talking about ... and then proceeding to list things that we regularly talk about here. So your own confidence in statements you are making without the knowledge to back them up, I wouldn't say is your own intelligence. It's more of a Dunning-Kruger-like kind of intelligence, and that is the same reason why I believe you think he is intelligent.
No. I'm just saying, like, the whole Charlie Kirk conversation, and everybody's like, oh, look at what they said about him, look at what they said about him, and now you have streamers taking up all the timeline because everybody got offended about something, and then they're just using this as just leverage to just crack down on anybody who questions anything. And this is what
that's why we're talking about it, because it's a clear violation of the freedom of speech.
If we do get into a real war, if we do get into a real war, or if we're not already in one now, he could say reporting casualties is somehow traitorism. And then anybody because that's what George W. Bush wanted to do.
So you agree we should fight back against the way he is trying to designate acceptable speech as his speech, but we should do it by not talking about the way he's doing it, which is using Charlie Kirk's death to do so. So Jay, what's the most effective way to fight against his tyranny without talking about the instances of his tyranny?
Well, that's good that you're talking about. Like I said, this is my first time listening, my first time calling. That's why I was so shocked about listening to the desensitization from the MAGA crowd. Like, it's scary out here. You know, I feel like they probably want to go back to Jim Crow era, and I wonder what they would do to somebody who was in a mixed relationship. I've only read it. I was born in '88, but I wonder if that was a felony. I wonder if that's what
Who did you vote for in 2024?
I've never voted.
So you want us to take your activism seriously when you haven't done the bare minimum activism? It's so bare minimum, it's barely activism. Okay, you joined the military in what year again?
And I told people we should have. I joined in '06 and I got out in '09, and I was in Iraq in '08. And after '08, I came back here and I was saying we need to get out.
I'm sorry. Wait. What? Under what conditions did you leave the military?
How old are you?
He says 88, which would make him 37 years old. In 2006, he would have been 18. So he joined apparently right as he turned 18, and then was let go before his 21st birthday. It sounds like you're saying, Jay.
You're 37.
I got wounded while I was over there. I got shot. Yeah.
Boy, I gotta tell you,
my bullshit alarm is
my condolences to you, this sounds
you could doubt it.
True.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I do doubt it. Will you email me your service number and I'll look you up? I won't dox you.
I mean, I could do that. I mean,
sure,
I could
please
tell
do.
You.
It's
I mean,
contact CONT. Hang on, you may want to write this down and come back and find it. Contact CONTACT at QNAline.com and just email me your service number. I want to look up and verify some things you're saying.
Wait, really quick, Jay. What year did? Don't Jay. Real quick. Don't think about it. What year did you graduate high school?
What year I graduated? 07.
Okay, I believe him. That was real quick math.
How did he join the military?
At least I believe his age.
How did he join the military before he
program,
graduated
split
high
ups
school?
program. Split up program. You join, you go to basic training, you come back home, and then you can get alternative school and get out.
You finish high school after basic?
Yeah, that doesn't trigger my. You know the U.S. will take kids.
All right. So did you miss a year in school? Because you're saying you graduated at 19.
I just told them, like, since I was already in, I kind of just like they just signed me off, even though I kind of like.
No, I'm asking why did you graduate high school at 19 instead of 18?
I didn't graduate at 19. I graduated at the time I was just already set to go because I completed basic training my junior year, and then my senior year.
What month is your birthday?
Fast in an alternative school. My month is in November.
Okay.
1st.
Just double checking some numbers, making sure they add up.
Yeah,
like, send me that service record. I want to read about your Purple Heart and such.
Okay, I mean. That's a lot of information, but I'll give it to you. I mean, but this is what I'm trying to tell you is like the focus on the discourse, because it's like the focus on the discourse is just completely like it's like that's why I say the Charlie Kirk thing. Everybody's saying it's use this and don't agree with the narrative. They're gonna say, oh, look at what you did. When Kimmel guy didn't say anything, he played Trump's own words. And that's the scary thing. You can't even show people the visual facts. And they're going to say that this is somehow, and you couldn't do that with any other person besides this dude, because I don't know how it has to be some kind of group. Everybody has to know each other. You see it starting to all come out with the streamers getting paid by outside sources and then even
Jay, what is your overall point? Because you're kind of just ranting here, and you're not telling us how to improve this alleged discourse that we're doing incorrectly.
Well, how is the money getting like to these people? Like you got all this money flowing to these small LLCs, and no, I don't even know. Like, I think Israel's a small thing in it because I think the whole weapon sales and the whole drug business goes hand in hand, and that they use that to make us all scared. They start policing us.
I think he's on the side of
like after 9/11.
Everybody's wrong but me, and I've got these insights that are based solely on not knowing anything.
Well, no, I'm just
Jay, are you Jay? Just real quick, because we only have 4 minutes left. So really quickly, do you agree with the current positions of the conservative group in America?
That's what I mean. I think Trump has hijacked everything, and what he's trying to do is bring in his own thing. Like he's here to just default.
Do you know what a yes or no question
to destroy
is?
Everything.
No, but I understand what he's saying. I understand what he's saying.
No,
so then I'm confused where you get. I don't agree with it. But you said that he's smart, so I'm confused.
Right.
Well, because look at how did he beat the Democrats? You can't lose to this dude
because a bunch of white people were racist.
Yeah, wait. Bullying,
and they didn't want to vote for a black woman.
Billions of dollars, bullying. Let's also go with money from Israel.
How do you get bullied by somebody who doesn't know anything? How do you get bullied by? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you think that most bullies are brilliant? I don't get it, Jay. Jay, Jay. I don't even know where to. We've got 3 minutes left, and I'm trying to think of what a single productive thing we could say is. So let's do this, Jay. In 2028, despite my best efforts to the contrary, most likely it is going to be J.D. Vance versus Gavin Newsom. Who will you be voting for?
I'm not going to vote because both sides want to deport people that have been here for 30 years.
That you're going to sit there and both sides it at this point?
Why didn't the Democrats? Because you're socialist and communist, right? You believe that we should have our resources, right?
In Texas, who will you be voting in the primaries for? Instead of let's not even worry about general election. Which primary election candidates will you be supporting? Who will you at least attempt to make the presidential candidate?
I don't like I said. I have a mindset of I just joined the military and I follow my country wherever my people say, and that's all it. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it.
Who will you be attempting to make the presidential candidate that isn't one of those two in the primaries?
I don't know. Whoever like is able to help us access the stuff that we are earned through our diplomacy and through our hard work. I mean,
great. Name one candidate in the
II,
entire U.S. that you feel represents more closely a political position that you would feel comfortable in a primary voting for.
I don't know. I don't. That's the thing. I'm not. Yeah. I'm just a regular. I'm just a regular
Jay,
dude.
I don't
what
know.
I've seen,
I don't know. Unfortunately, your right is a regular position, and that's what's so fucking depressing is that you embody what you're calling. I don't know. I'm just a regular whatever, and you're referring to how much you have to invoke. I don't know. That like depresses the shit out of me because you're sitting here with such strong positions, speaking so loudly. I'm not advocating for the Democrats, but when it comes to the general election, with very little, there is very little chance that it won't be, not very little, but it's likely going to be JD versus Gavin Newsom. And I will hold my nose and have throw up actively in my mouth when I vote for Gavin Newsom, because that's just going to be the way it's going to be. It was not worth anybody with their like abstain thing. It was not worth not trying harder to get Kamala Harris in this last time. The consequences were too great, but I will be primarying before that. And I will be trying to join any movement that can give us an actual third candidate that isn't that fucking nonsense again. Anyway,
I just think we need to fix the parties that we have. Why can't we?
Right, Jay, but you also don't know how or don't know what's actually specifically wrong. And so we have to leave there because unfortunately this is the end of the show. It's 7 o'clock. We got to go. Jay, call back another time if you've looked up some stuff and you don't have to resort to I don't know so much. Goodbye. This fucking, to be that confident with zero solutions, even solutions you don't like, is just to be like, yeah, I'm actually doing fine just sitting back and watching everybody else suffer. And so like, I don't even care if some people are like, I'm not voting for the Democrats. They do because of whatever, as long as they have a viable alternative, but none of them do. And so this is where we find ourselves.
I think Jay needed a friend.
Probably. I jerk off to the sound of my voice on the internet too. No, I don't. Get out of here, you freaks. Jovan, thank you so much for joining. We'll do more. We can do some during the week if you're ever like, if we hit a day and it's like, bro, let's go live today. This is crazy what's happening. Let's do it.
If you, I'll hit you up after, but if you're free on Wednesday, I know I'm starting later on Wednesday on my stream if you wanted to hop on.
That sounds super fun. And I think I'm almost definitely in. I have to double check, but that sounds like I'll be there. All right, everybody, go watch The Line, the Sunday show after dark. That was the show and stuff. And you get a really short outro because